fellow gentlemen of the road.
Oh, God, look what's turned up.
My apologies, madam. I am happy to report that Lady Luck has smiled on me today.
Hey, up, it's a bottle of scotch.
Not simply Scotch, my Lancastrian friend. A mingling with the finest malts from the house of Justerini and Brooks. The names of no less than 8 illustrious monarchs grace the label.
Oh, a fine blend.
Ah, yes, very good.
I might even shoot down to the country for the weekend. Do a spot of poaching. What?
International elevators are up. You should take the Times, you know. Much better coverage.
I say, Bertie, what's your golf handicap?
No clubs, old boy. Mustache. Appointment with my tailor.
J&B Rare, the scotch, with a touch of class.
Who broke the bank at Monte
Just what you are.
Welcome to the Cinematic Void Podcast. Cinematic Void is a cult film series that hosts screenings in the Los Angeles area as well as virtually. I'm your host, Jim Branscombe, and joining me as always is...
But hey, it's Nick Vance, Paranoid Futures on social media. You can find Cinematic Void on the World Wide Web at cinematicvoid.com, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms. If you want to support the Void, you can consider joining our Patreon.
All right, we're back again. This is, in that new studio. It's pretty swanky in here, I'd say.
Thanks.
Yeah, I guess, you would know that. I
worked hard on it.
You did. It's immaculate in here.
Wow. Immaculate.
So, I don't know. I guess it's been a month since we recorded it. Anything else been going on with you?
I saw a buddy of mine who works at Universal in the, I don't know, maybe he doesn't, I'm sure he keeps it from his coworkers.
Yeah.
But like...
But you've mentioned it before.
Have I mentioned on the podcast before?
Yeah.
So I guess it's fair game at this point. But yeah, a buddy of mine is in a Metallica cover band, and they're sick. Metallica brought them on tour with them. I think they brought like a grip of Metallica cover bands, and then just have them like open at like different venues like all over the city. It was just like there are just 10 Metallica's playing this weekend. I saw them Friday up in Simi Valley. I just had band practice out there, so it was like, hell yeah, perfect opportunity to go see Metallica tonight. And man, they fucking rip, dude. I mean, it's just so like note perfect. Like sometimes you see a cover band and people kind of inject like the way that they played their guitar into those songs or something, you know what I mean? It's just like maybe not rewriting a part, but like kind of my point is these guys like nail it like as if it was Metallica playing it. Maybe even like better, because maybe Metallica probably fuck around. They've been playing For Whom the Bell Tolls for so long. Like I'm sure they fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not in a cool way.
I mean, I get that. I feel like being a cover band, like a good cover band, is like a rare art form.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, it's a rare art form. But these guys are fucking pros, man. It's fucking sick. It's a sight to behold. Yeah, they're sick, man. So I don't know. I did that a couple days ago. My record is actually coming out next month. The single drops on the 3rd, and I think the full EP drops on the 12th. Whatever it is, it's the Wednesday and then Friday. I don't know. I'm not doing that math right now. Yeah, it's gonna come out. It's called Double Life.
I know
is the band name.
Yeah, I know we've promoted this before, but like it's officially coming out because it's already been said in the.
He made me talk about it a really long time ago, and I didn't want to. I don't know if you remember that.
But now, hey, you get the double. You get the double promoted. Look at that.
Look at that. That's coming out. I've just been projecting all over the place. Been projecting to the Egyptian. It's been fun.
Cool.
I'm tired.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm tired. I ran Mystic River last night until almost 1 a.m. Sean Penn just screaming a lot.
Yeah, that is kind of that movie, but like, I actually like Mystic River. I haven't seen it forever.
I saw it, I saw it in the theater when it came out. I don't think I've watched it since, but I do remember really liking it then. I've been going to like AMC's to see new film. This is a new thing for me that I'm trying out. Like maybe it's just so I can like kind of talk about stuff on the podcast. Even it's little fodder here. It's like I actually went to see something new, which is not a thing I do. But I saw Poor Things. I saw The Holdovers. We're gonna go see Zone of Interest this week, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to check out the new shit, man.
I kind of feel that too. It's like, working for a movie theater, and like, in order for me to kind of enjoy and separate, I feel like I have to go to a different venue.
Yeah.
Because if it's like someplace, one of the 3 theaters that the Cinematheque runs, I feel like my old like ADHD manager stuff flares up.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, they need to fix the sound. The masking's off. Like,
Yeah, oh my god. I mean, well but now I then go to like AMC or even Lemley and it's just like, oh, I guess they're not gonna bring the masking in.
I don't think they have masking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not, right? It's just there's just nothing there. Now I'm spoiled now.
But then it's also not my problem.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I sink into it after a while and forget that it looks like shit.
Well, I do mind it looks like shit, but like,
Sure.
But the thing is, it's like it's not my responsibility to fix it.
Yeah.
And I don't feel obligated. And it's just like whatever. It's like I'm trying to think the last time I went to like one of those theater chains and they play the like 20 minutes of fucking trailers, and they don't, they'll play things like they'll play their scope trailers, but they'll have them like fucking completely window boxed and shit like that. It's just wild. And it's like, man, this is sloppy as fuck. But then it's like, ain't my problem as long as the movie's playing fine.
I do. And it's also nice to go just watch a fucking DCP somewhere because it's the same sort of experience where I'm not that I'm necessarily like critiquing what they do, but it still just gives me like a uneasy feel. I'm a little too mindful of the technicalities of it, and it kind of fucks up the experience.
Well, I mean,
I shouldn't be watching for the changeover. I shouldn't give a fuck.
I mean, I watch for the changeovers.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone can say that Fight Club scene where it gets pointed out like, oh, that's where everyone like. If you've had to actively look at it because you're making sure someone doesn't fuck something up, or you're not like, if you're actually projecting, it doesn't matter. Once it pops up, it just automatically goes.
Oh, now at this point I have it's a very, do you know about chicken sexting?
No, I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's like there are people in the world that like, there's like baby chicks coming down on a fucking I guess I'm probably talking about actually like I'm also talking about murdering animals right now.
I actually
so you're like, oh, I do know what that is. Don't tell me about it.
No, I do know what it is because it's going to go into my first point we're going to talk about. So because it was in the it was in the movie.
Which movie?
Redneck Zombies.
Man,
they were watching footage where they were doing like the sex like.
Yeah, but there are people that because they have to do it so quickly, right? Eventually it becomes like a sixth sense almost. It's like you're not even like seeing anything, you just know. And it's like that's how changeovers are starting to feel to me, is like I can not even be paying attention to the screen and I see it pop up,
I mean, when I'm watching a movie, I know it's a film print. I always get this keen, like, I don't want to say sick. I've never projected.
Yeah.
So, but I've just, because years of working as a manager and you're watching shit because like, for whatever reason, you just kind of get that little like thing that's like, I think it's coming up. And then you see it.
If it's been, if a print's been plattered, it's going to have like this kind of artifacts towards the tail of the reel anyway. Yeah. So like you kind of get a sense that the changeover's coming because the print starts to look a little worse towards the end there. So there's a little cheat for you.
Yeah.
Trust me, don't look for those. I mean, just watch the fucking movie, man. Just do yourself a favor is what I'm saying. As much as I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. I'm like, man, I it's not ruining movies for me. But that's what I was getting at, was like, it's nice to go see Poor Things and like not give a fuck about anything, but just watching what's going on the screen and taking the story in.
I mean, there was a good couple years when I first learned editing where if I watched a movie, all I could do was watch the edits.
It sounds fucking brutal, man.
and you kind of just have to train yourself like not to do it or be able to turn it off, because sometimes it is valuable. Especially if you're like dissecting a movie and like, because sometimes when we talk about movies, we're talking about the editing because it's really important, so you're paying attention to it. But like, it's the number one rule for watching a movie, regardless if it's a 35 millimeter print or a DCP, is not to have anything that takes you out of the movie. And one thing I've said before, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but I've said it before, is that if you're watching a movie and you're just commenting on like, oh, the cinematography or the editing, like if you're doing that real time, you're not in the movie.
Yeah.
You're not in the experience. And I think that's, I think a lot of people are a little too hip into the knowledge of stuff now. So it's like, if I can sit down and watch a movie and not want to like get on my phone or whatever and just be immersed in it, that's my happy place.
Totally.
And we'll definitely be talking about some of that stuff when we get to the rewatch and listen in a little bit of later on this podcast. But since you kind of inadvertently hit on it or hinted on it, although, are you done? Do you have anything else you want to? I don't want to jump ahead.
I haven't done shit the past month.
Okay. So because you mentioned that like the chicken sex test thing, that was it was used as like background TV footage in a movie that we did commentary on. When did we do that commentary? Back in the summer?
Something like that. Came out pretty quick though.
Yeah, so Nick and I did our first official commentary for a Blu-ray, which was Redneck Zombies. It's put out on one of those sub-Vinegar Syndrome labels. And
both being from Maryland, it's a regional zombie film for us, and something we watched back in the day when it came out. So it was just really cool to get an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I wish they didn't put the word critical commentary.
Critical, like, man, we were really just fucking hanging out.
We hit some points. We talked about Shawn video and a little bit of Maryland film horror history and stuff like that. But we definitely kind of start riffing at some point. Not that we were making fun of the movie or anything like that, but it was just like we had fun with it. Yeah. So if any of you happen to get that Blu-ray and listen to the commentary, tell us what you think. Because I would like to know, because I will never listen to it again.
There you go.
And some other stuff that's been going on. Recently did the Neon Maniacs screening that I've been basically talking about or been trying to do all year long. And turned out to be a fucking blast.
Hell yeah.
Did a Q&A with producer Chris Arnold, some of the actors that played various maniacs in the movie. There's Joel Stephen Hammond. He played Slasher, or at least partway. Everyone that played a maniac that was on the stage played partial in the movie, because that movie, if you know anything about Neon Maniacs, I can tell you how you can learn more here in a second, but they had a production shutdown, so some of the monsters got recast along the way. So I was saying Joel Stephen Hammond, who played Slasher, Mario Valdez, who played Samurai, and Scott Getzo, who played Juice, who is married to Beth Hart. You know who Beth Hart is?
Not off the top of my head.
She's kind of like a blues, she's a rock performer or whatever, but I think she might be a little older demographic than most people. I mean, she's not old, but definitely more I don't want to say dad rock, because I feel like it's just more straight rock.
Okay.
And I just happen to know who she was, and he's married to her and her tour manager. So that was kind of cool. I think Kellen was there. He's like, "Oh shit, is that Beth Hart?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Wild. Okay.
So that was kind of cool. And everyone was super nice. It was a great Q&A. Shout out to Sean Farina, who his dad was a producer of the movie. I had Sean out when I did Neon Maniacs years ago. He brought out Archer's Crossbow and Mohawk Severed Arm. So he got on stage and he joined us for the Q&A for a bit, but it was a blast. And I have to give a special thanks to Steven Scarlatta, who is doing this podcast. He did the Hodorowski's Dune documentary, did the Sharksploitation documentary. He's currently doing a podcast that's been coming out, and it's called In the Shadow of Neon Maniacs. And he actually interviewed me for that series, and there's been 4 episodes, and I think there's a 5th one that's going to come out, and then it's going to take its season break or whatever it's going to do. And I've been on the first 4. I don't know if I think I'll be on the 5th, just because of what the subject is. But, it's kind of cool because I talked to him for a couple hours, and it's kind of funny to hear things you talk about, getting put into other context and all that. But the thing about Neon Maniacs, it's such a weird movie because of all the mystery and no one ever really talking about how it was made. So he's basically figuring out how it was made and talking to people who never talked about the movie before.
Crazy.
So it's really cool. So And like, yeah, I'm plugging it because I'm on it, but I'm learning shit that I never knew. So definitely check it out. It's, where all the fine podcasts are. And speaking of podcasts, I'm going to be doing one that you were on previously, which is going to be Boys Bible Study. That's going to be coming out, I think, beginning of 2024. For those you don't know, Boys Bible Study, we talked about on the podcast because you went to their screening they hosted for the Cinematheque, like Friends of the Cinematheque podcast, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So they basically take religious movies and do very in-depth critiques on them. They might take the piss out of them, or they might be earnest. I don't know. It's up to your interpretation. But I'm going to be on there, and we're actually doing a Giallo because this episode's going to come out for January. So they're like, we'll do a religious Giallo for you to be on. So not going to say what movie is. You just got to wait for that to come out. But I'm excited to do it.
Let's have those guys on sometime as well.
We should. Yeah, we definitely need to do that. We need to actually have guests on, and we got to figure out.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I mean, I know I've done those like film programmer ones, but no, we should have like full-on homie episodes again.
Definitely.
So we'll figure that out in the new year. Another podcast that I'm going to be on at some point, Jacob Davison, who we work with at the Cinematheque, he's got a new podcast he's co-hosting called the Hollow Rewind Podcast, talking about movies that take place on Halloween, I think. Maybe that's the whole premise. They're going to have me on on a panel for a movie, which, again, got to wait for that to come out to see, but just hyping ahead. Other things did. My girlfriend came to town. We went to a wedding. We went to Amelie and Brandon, who are very nice people. Amelie is on Poltergeist and Paramore. Or is it Paramore? It's Poltergeist and Paramore. Fashion Line, and Brandon's a filmmaker. Really nice people. Had a nice wedding at a Elks Lodge in Van Nuys. It was Christmas themed. So it was... I don't think I've been to a wedding in years. And it was a nice time. Ran into a bunch of people I knew, and nice to have Leslie in town. We did a little things. I wanted to go take her to see Bela Lugosi's grave, but that cemetery's closed on Sundays.
Is it a Holy Cross?
Yeah, it's Holy Cross.
Okay.
I can't.
Darby Crash is. And
Is he there?
Darby Crash.
No shit.
Sharon Tate.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the
Is it right in Culver City?
Yeah, I think Sharon Tate's right next to Bela Lugosi, or maybe it's Rita Hayworth. I can't remember. Yeah, Culver City. Okay. I couldn't think of Culver City just the same way right now. Like, the town starts with a C. I don't know. But we ended up going to Forest Lawn, which I've never been to.
Okay. Me either, actually.
Yeah, and just like we kind of walked around. We didn't do a big thing. I actually filmed some of it, but found Lemmy from Motorhead's grave, Dio's grave. Couldn't find Matthew Perry's, like I wasn't on mark, but Betty Davis, I think Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds and stuff like that.
Okay.
We weren't really like searching. It was just like things we came across. So
nice.
And it was a fun weekend. And I don't know, I'm bringing this up because this was a random text message from her like maybe a week or so ago. She's like, you know what I hate? Krampus. Not the movie, just all that Krampus stuff. And I was like, well, I love you, and I fully agree.
Yeah.
I just recorded some for a Cinematis movie that will probably be out before this, but like, I feel like Krampus, I know it's an old German folktale or something like that. It's been hundred years old, but like, I feel like the last decade has been Krampus madness. And I don't know, it's just like...
Was it Mike Doherty that did the Krampus movie?
He did the Krampus movie, but there was Krampus bullshit before that. And I think there's a bunch of like DIY stuff. Like it's been in the zeitgeist, and like, yes, again, it's an old folk tale, folklore, or whatever. But like, let's be real here. I know there's a lot of Christmas horror movies, and there's probably more movies that take place on Christmas that are horror movies. However, I think the reason why it's so much is because you're subverting a holiday. With Krampus, you're trying to like, Christmas is always hard, and just like, I don't know. My beef is it's like Christmas is not Halloween. Stop trying to make it Halloween.
Spooky season 2.
Well, yeah. Do you remember Santa Claus, the movie that came out as a kid? I think Dudley Moore was in it, and he played Elf. John Lithgow was the villain.
No.
I remember seeing that as a kid. I think Phil Blankenship has a print of it, but like, I can't remember who plays Santa Claus, but like at some point, like they're like, we're going to just make Christmas too. So I feel like, I don't know. This is me being, get off my lawn, but it's like, I don't want horror Christmas. I know a lot of that started with probably like Nightmare Before Christmas, where that whole thing is, and it's just, I don't know, man. It just, I think Krampus is, all it is just a big smelly Bigfoot.
Right on.
And I don't know, it's not scary. And I just don't care. So that's me taking a stand, anti-Krampus.
Fuck you, Krampus.
Yeah, fuck you, Krampus. What are you going to do? I don't know. I just feel like, let's just keep Christmas for what it is, which is a holiday where you're supposed to get shit and buy people shit.
It's Christmas. Does I don't know. I don't even want to know. What the fuck is up with Krampus? I mean, what does he fight Santa?
No, he's just like, I guess he
because that would be fucking hilarious if Santa had a fucking nemesis.
Well, it was like a WWF style thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here comes Krampus. It's Krampus's music. He just comes out and fucking like lariats fucking Santa Claus.
Hell yeah.
Puts him in a camel clutch or something like that. Like he's the Iron Sheik. Actually, if that was how it was, sign me up.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think Krampus is just like, if the kids are bad, he's supposed to like kidnap them or eat them or whatever.
This sucks.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, why, is he also a pedophile? Is that what it is?
Christmas is about Jesus' birthday and getting fucking presents, and not some fucking goat man.
Goat man.
Trying to fucking eat a kid.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess it's like
get that shit out of here.
It's a proto chupacabra or something like that. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Bigfoot, chupacabra. It's some fucking cryptid, and it's just like, it's not the cool cryptid. It's not the Loch Ness monster. It's not the fucking Mothman.
Yeah.
So Krampus can go to hell. I don't know. I guess that's where it is. And so for this episode, we are going to be doing a jam-packed thing because our recording schedule is going to be tighter because you're working a lot. Next month, I'm going to be fucking busy. And, I think we'll probably be doing the podcast monthly, is my guess. Seems to be the way it's going to be working. So we're jam-packing what would probably be 2 episodes normally into one super episode. And we're going to be talking about, or we're going to do a yearly favorites list. We're going to be doing a little different this year. Normally we alternate. Nick does music and I do Blu-rays, but Nick's like, you know what? I'm a movie guy too. I don't want to just do music. So we're going to flip the script and we're just going to...
I don't want to talk about either of those things.
Of course not. Why would you do the premise of the podcast?
Yeah, I got something totally different planned. Fuck that.
It's just of course you do, you fucker. God damn. I
Movies and music. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
Good
about
Lord.
We're gonna talk about Fabergé eggs or something. Maybe. I don't know. You got a list. I know you got fucking list.
The other thing I know about Fabergé eggs is Serial Mom.
I mean, that's all you have to know. I think it's that in that episode of The Simpsons where Bleeding Gums Murphy had an addiction to Fabergé eggs.
Okay, I don't remember.
He spent all his money on that. I don't even know what the fuck a Fabergé egg really is.
It's like a baseball card for middle-aged housewives in the 80s.
I guess it's either that or there's little like spoons you can get from every state, like the collectible spoons.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. We're getting way off topic here. Where was I getting at? All right, 2023 favorites, where Nick may or may not have lists for shit. And the other thing we're going to be talking about, because, hey, next month's January. You know what that means. It's January Giallo. So we're going to be talking about the 2024 lineup. Just made some announcements. I mean, not just made some announcements. By the time this comes out, the announcements have been long out, but... You remember that surprise where I said January Giallo is either going to be really great or really, really great or whatever I said? Well, it's really, really great. And we're going to be talking about it when we return after these messages.
Viewer's Choice presents Bob Weir and Terry Garcia of Grateful Dead.
Hey, Jer, what are you doing New Year's Eve? I'm not going to be in Times Square again. What are you going to do? I don't know. Let's have a party. Where? How about at your place? Viewer's Choice. New Year's Eve.
Stay home on New Year's Eve and get dedicated. Order Grateful Dead Live. The party starts at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. A special pay-per-view event from Viewer's Choice.
Viewer's Choice. New Year's Eve.
Just ask you, didn't we talk about it?
I've got to go home.
Oh, come on, Carrie. We're going to a new place.
She wants to go home, right? Let's go.
Whoa.
You okay to drive?
Yeah,
I'm fine. You sure?
Relax.
What's a few beers?
If you don't stop your friend from drinking and driving, you're as good as dead. Drinking and driving can kill a friendship.
J&B Scotch Whisky, il più svitato, il più amato.
Welcome back. We are on the Cinematic Void podcast, and we're going to be talking about the January Giallo 2024 lineup. And again, not only is this happening in Los Angeles, but it's going to be happening across the country like it has the last few years. And it's actually going to be happening on the Cinematis movie, because there's going to be a new episode every Saturday in January. And all those episodes will be Giallo themed. So if you're looking for a way to spend your January and you want to pull on those black gloves, pour that glass of J&B and, sharpen up that razor, well, we got you covered here in the Void. So I guess we'll talk about the big thing first, which is something that I've been working on since 2019 in different ways. And that is, for January, the dream has always been to be able to bring an iconic Italian filmmaker over so we can, really celebrate this. There was an Argento De Palma year where I had a bunch of guests, but I haven't had a filmmaker in person. Actually, Chris Severson came out for I Know Who Killed Me, and I love Chris and all that, but for the Italian end of it, it's wouldn't it be cool to get someone? And well, this year we have, and thanks to Music Box Theater, of course, the American Cinematheque, Sergio Martino's coming to the States for, I don't know if it's the first time ever, but it might be the first time ever.
Right on.
I haven't seen anything I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, but yeah, he's coming for January Giallo. And not only that, he is also going to be ushering the Void's return to the Egyptian Theater.
Very cool.
So for everyone who's saying, hey, when are you going to be back at the Egyptian Theater? Well, this is when I'm going to be back at the Egyptian Theater. It's going to be on Saturday, January 20th, doing a screening, a double feature of Torso and the Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. And Sergio Martino is going to be in person, and I'm going to be doing a Q&A with him.
Fuck yeah, man. So cool.
So, I should get into a little origin of this. So, back in 2019, after I did the De Palma versus Argento year, which was kind of the year that kind of pushed January Giallo to the next plateau, as it were. At the time, we had an interim executive director who saw the success as well, who could we bring over? And I made a suggestion. It was well, no one's really ever done Sergio Martino. He's in good shape. He's been around, and he's made tons of classic Giallo films. He's also made, tons of European cop movies. He's done comedies. He's done westerns. He's done straight horror. And he's okay, we're going to make that happen. And just never happened. And then, pandemic and stuff. So this is something that I've been trying to figure out for years. And I've pitched to Beyond Fest and all that. And through the homie William Morris, there was this woman in Chicago named Stephanie who had a contact. And, through her, we kind of started getting the ball rolling to facilitate something. Ryan at the Music Box actually kind of got it over whatever hurdles needed to be gotten over so we could actually make this reality. So at one point we almost did this for Beyond Fest this past October. It was on the cards, but Martino needed to go to the doctor and be medically cleared to fly because he is in his 80s.
Okay.
And he wasn't for October, but he got cleared for January. So that's how this is all happening. So he's going to be in LA, he's going to be at the Music Box, which I'll talk about when I talk about those shows. But really, I think at the end of this Q&A, I'm just going to take off my Void jacket, put it on the chair, and just ride off on the sunset.
Fuck.
I mean, I don't know if I'll actually do that, but it's kind of how I feel like I should do it. And actually, I really can't do it because we'll get to that in a little bit. But, there's only a couple other people on that caliber that I could do. Dario Argento came from Beyond Fest maybe 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. That would be a big one. The other one is Edwidge Fenech.
Right on.
She's still around. Like those are kind of like.
Does she do stuff?
She doesn't, but like that might be changing. So who knows? But it took a little bit to get finally get Martino here. I mean, hell, we did a whole two episodes on him for January Giallo. We with our friend Scott Carlson of Repulsion. So it's been in the works for a while. So hey, never say never. And I'm not saying I'm gonna retire at the end of this, but it does feel like you want a perfect ending. Just get on my motorcycle like I'm the Undertaker in the last ride and just drive all. No, I don't know, but I'm really excited for this, and also really excited that people are really stoked for this. Sold a lot of tickets when they went on sale.
Fuck yeah.
And it's definitely going to sell out. I mean, I wasn't expecting instant sellout because, that's just the nature of these things. But it's doing well, and I think it's still just creeping out there. So, yeah, I could just stop there and be like, that's January Giallo, but there's a whole lot of coming up, and there's even more at the Los Feliz 3. So I guess this is going to be the third year I've done a grip of these at the Los Feliz 3. That's basically how I started. Ended up doing weekly shows anyway, was because of the January Giallo 2022. And this year, I'm going to admit there's some DCPs in there. And if people are asking why, it's like, well, we're bringing over Sergio Martino. And, it's not cheap to do that. So I wanted to do a really great lineup, because sometimes I don't show titles because there's no film prints, and this was an excuse for me just to show films that I really love that I haven't seen prints of, or if the prints are out there, they're not in great shape or they're hard to get. So I'm definitely did some DCPs, but 3 out of the 5 movies are still on 35 millimeter. Starting New Year's Day, the 1st, we're going to be doing Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key.
Cool.
Martino banger. One I've been wanting to screen forever, and it just kind of made sense. And it's kind of like the appetizer before you get to the full torso Mrs. Ward meal on the 20th.
Right on.
On the 8th, at a special 10 p.m. slot, not the normal 7, going to be doing Lucio Fulci's The Psychic, which is kind of a later era Giallo. It came out in 77, so it's out the prime of the late 60s, early 70s, but stars Jennifer O'Neill. It's a really cool one. It's, I think Fulci Gialli are really underrated. And I think they're all fantastic, and this one no exception. On the 15th, I think I mentioned this before, but I bought 2 film prints earlier this year. And I bought 2 Italian language Giallo film prints. And this one is one of those 2 prints. I'm going to be showing my personal 35 millimeter of The Killer Is Still Amongst Us. It is in Italian, so it's going to be soft subtitle, but I kind of just like the idea of investing in, I'm obviously invested in it, but buying films so I can actually screen them. It's kind of just taking it up a notch. So we're going to be showing my personal 35. It's from the 80s, so wouldn't be faded. I know Ben actually did an inspection on it and kind of made it a little bit nicer, so it's a pretty good print. So I'm excited to show it. On the 22nd, I'm going to be showing a old Giallo favorite. And I'm actually not going to be in person for it, and I will get to why a little bit later. I'm going to be showing Amok, which, Barbara Boucher's in it. One of the great sexy Giallo films.
Okay.
This is going to be a Grindhouse print, so everyone worried about, where's the Grindhouse print? I don't know if anyone's actually saying that, but if you're looking for one print that's probably going to be red and scratched, Amok is the screening for you, and it's selling well.
Nice.
And then to close out January, I did another kind of oddball Giallo adjacent pick. I feel like that's just the way to go from now on. So I wrote one of the distributors, Park Circus, because they have a bunch of weirdo Giallo adjacent titles, and I just wanted to see what they had prints of. And they came back with 2, and I kind of went with this one because it's just weirder. It's a Canadian production. It's called Stone Cold Dead. It's basically about a serial killer who wears black gloves, but he's sniping hookers. And it stars Paul Williams. Yes, Paul Williams, who wrote The Rainbow Connection, that's in Phantom of the Paradise. He plays a pimp.
Cool.
And it's fucking weird. I think Richard Crenna is the star. He plays a cop in it. I think one of the notes Richard Crenna, one of the things Richard Crenna didn't understand why they were pretending the movie wasn't set in Canada. He didn't understand they were trying to market it to a bigger market. It's like, why are we, this is Canada, why are we pretending it's something else? They're like, no, it was just, yeah. So there's a little bit of that. So that is the Los Feliz 3 lineup. I think it's pretty solid. It's a little different, Again, not doing Argento this year for any of my screenings. This will be the second year I haven't done it, and I still got a few Argentos left in the bag that I haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, this is like the 7th. Actually, I think this might be the 8th. Not counting the pre-Cinematic Void, the one I did for Rendezvous. I think this is like the 8th lineup, including the Pandemic lineup. So
wait, who directed The Psychic?
The Psychic is Lucio Fulci.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason I think I somehow always thought that was Argento.
No,
I've never seen it also, but
it's Fulci. It has a fucking top tier dummy drop in it.
Oh.
It's partnered well with the Don't Torture a Duckling one.
Nice.
Whereas Duckling kind of ends with a dummy drop. This one starts with a dummy drop.
Very cool.
And I always appreciated Fulci would put squibs on his dummies.
Very nice.
Because you need exploding facial flesh.
Absolutely.
Fulci, he's the fucking king. But yeah, that's Los Feliz 3. I am stoked for it. I'm actually really stoked to see Stone Cold Dead in a theater. Because it's I just love it. It was sort of like finding a 35mm print, or not really finding, but the distributor saying, yeah, we have one of Night Game.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weirdo, fuck it. No one has probably played this in forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. That's the stuff that gets me excited for. So, we're going to move on to the Music Box, which, programmed by the Music Box of Horrors, my good friend William Morris. He's put together a pretty stellar, interesting lineup. They're also going on Mondays this year, but they're only doing the first 4, not all 5. They're kicking things off with the Paul Naschy starring House of Psychotic Women. Obviously, the namesake of Kayla Janice's book. It also goes by the title Blue Eyes for the Broken Doll, which is, one of the great, Spanish gialli. And they're showing a 35mm print. I showed this year 2 of January Giallo. I showed it with What Have You Done to Solange, or Whether They Done to Solange. And, yeah, it's a good way to kick it off. I like everyone's lineup, it's kind of interesting. You'll see a few of the ones that are repeated between the venues. On the 8th, they're showing a new restoration by Severn Films, a film I actually haven't seen. It's called Closed Circuit. It's I think it's one of the movies they dropped during their Black Friday thing, along with all the Michele Soave releases. Trailer looks cool. I haven't seen it, but, kudos to Will for, slotting it in there and just kind of giving January Giallo a different look in Chicago.
Cool.
On the 15th, they are going to one of the many venues they're showing this French giallo called The Strangler. I think Altered Innocence is putting this out. It's currently on. I think they did a little bit of a theatrical run at the end of this year, but a lot of the venues have picked this up for their January Giallo. So I haven't seen this one either. Yep. Trailer looks cool. I don't know if I'll do it for January Giallo. I might just play it sometime next year just because.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 22nd, Chicago will also be blessed, graced, however you want to put it, with the iconic genre filmmaker, Sergio Martino. He will be there in person for a screening of Torso. And I'm actually going to be doing that Q&A too. So I'm actually going to miss one of my shows in LA because I'm going to fly out and do the Martino Q&A in Chicago as well. So I don't know. I'm stoked to have that opportunity to, talk to a fucking legend like that for 2 in a row.
Real sick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm now thinking shit, I got to figure out how to make these Q&As different.
Yeah.
Not that they need to be super different, but
mm-hmm.
make it interesting for both of us.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be questions. There's going to be retread between the 2 screenings, but just, I don't know. I kind of put it up there with doing 3 Q&As almost in a row with Jonathan Kaplan and just figuring out fresh ways to talk to the person about, filmmaking, their films, their careers and stuff like that. So really excited for that opportunity. Coming up on the 5th of January in Salem, Massachusetts at Cinema Salem, I'm going to be there in person to do an introduction for Dario Argento's opera.
Very cool.
First of many Argentos that will be popping up in the lineup. Just because I'm not doing Argentos here doesn't mean elsewhere people are doing it. So I talked to Kay about this when she was out here for Bram Stoker's Dracula. I might have talked about it a little bit when the cell, but like, yeah, it just kind of worked out because I'll also be at the Coolidge that weekend for their January Giallo kickoff. So basically on the 1st, I'm going to do Your Vice here, fly out on Friday morning, go to Salem on Friday night, Coolidge on Saturday, back to LA on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be doing a lot of neck-breaking flying, but, you know, as of right now, I think I'm just going to Boston and Chicago, as far as I know.
Right on.
That might be for the best for this year. Yeah. So I mentioned the Coolidge. So Coolidge has a really cool lineup. Actually, this was probably the first lineup that got locked in. I was talking to Mark Anastasio. You know, he's, I think, the head of programming now at the Coolidge. He got a title upgrade or whatever. And so they've been expanding at the Coolidge, and like I think he's hoping that one of their new like theaters can be like the showcase to kick things off. They have a theater, it's all red. And they call it the Red Room. It's like a 200-seater. It's digital, all digital like projection, but like it looks sick.
Hell yeah.
So hoping we can do like some of January Giallo in there. I think we might be trying to do a sneak preview of in that room because I think they still have to get the fire marshal to like clear everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rules and regulations. But I will be there in person on Saturday, January 6th for a screening of Deep Red. You know, if I think of two quintessential Giallo films that if you want to know where to start and see the best of the best, it's Deep Red and Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward for me.
Yeah.
I think Deep Red, like, you know, I probably maybe like Tenebrae slightly better, but I think as a Giallo and I think as an encapsulation of everything Argento did before it, which is his Animal trilogy and even his the 5 Days in Milan or of Milan, his like weird historical comedy thing, it all kind of coalesces into like Deep Red. So it's a classic. Mark is also going to be showing The Psychic on the 13th. And he will also be doing Your Vice is a Locked Room, Only I Have the Key on the 20th. And then the Coolidge is going to close out their January Giallo on the 27th with Michele Soavi's Stage Fright.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to move over to Denver and our friends at Denver Film and Scream Screen. Shout out to Keith and Teresa, who have both been on episodes of the Programmer podcast. And they've come up with a pretty cool lineup also on Saturdays in Denver. They're going to be kicking things off on the 6th with A Blade in the Dark, which was a movie I showed in the Giallo marathon I did in 2020. I showed Harry Guerrero's like Italian language 35 of it. They're doing Teresa's going to be hosting this one, and she's showing Vinegar Syndrome's new restoration of it. So
cool.
It'll be sick. On the 13th, Keith is hosting a screening of that French Giallo, The Strangler. On the 20th, Keith is back again showing another Giallo Jason film that we talked about on that Giallo Jason episode. I forget what number it is, but you just search Cinematic Void Podcast, Giallo Jason. We talked about some good shit like Images and this film, which is The Eyes of Laura Mars. And then on the 27th, Teresa and Scream Screen are closing out January Giallo in Denver with Barbarian Sound Studio by Peter Strickland, which, have you ever seen that one?
I haven't.
It's a really fucking great movie. I love Peter Strickland in general, and like this one's I don't know, it's fucking great. And if there's one, I don't know if I can make Denver, but if I do make Denver, that's the one I'm gonna probably fly in for. But to be determined. I just got to see where I'm at and how dead I am by the end of the month.
Yeah,
really. Joining us once again is the Little Theater in Rochester and Anomaly Film Festival. They come back with another great lineup. They're alternating on Thursdays and Fridays every other week. And they're going to be kicking things off with, you know, not the first Giallo, but probably the one that popularized it the most in Italy, which is Mario Bava's Blood and Black Lace. On the 12th, they're showing one of my personal favorite Giallo films, which is The Red Queen Kills 7 Times. I think they've had to go to Italy to clear rights on it. So good on them. And on the 18th, they're going to be showing The Strangler as well. And then on the 26th, they are closing things out with the movie The Coolidge is starting with, which is Dario Argento's Deep Red.
And so you're not going to be at these, but you're co-presenting them?
Co-presenting them all, yeah.
Very cool, man.
Up next, our good friend Eddie, who used to be the Cinematic Void marketing manager, he now does his own programming series called Popcorn Reef. He's doing a January Giallo screening at the 10th Arts Center in San Diego. He's going to be showing Dario Argento's opera and Cat Shea's Strip to Kill as kind of a Italian meets West Coast, giallo mix-up. And pretty sure I'm coming down for that. Just introduce opera or whatever.
Tight, hell yeah.
So
very sick. Shout out Eddie.
Yeah. Eddie's doing some good work in San Diego, and if you're in that area, check out Popcorn Reef. They have a lot of screenings. One I didn't write down here, but I just got confirmed. I'll be back at the Frida for my regular bi-monthly residency I do there. I believe it's on, I think it's Friday the 26th. I'm going to be down there for a Michele Soavi double feature. So it's going to be half January Giallo, but really it's a Soavi double. The January Giallo half will be Stage Fright. And then for the second half, going to be showing one of the best movies ever made, which is Della Morte dell'Amore.
Very sick. Hell yeah.
So that's down at the Frida on the 26th. And there's a couple other venues that haven't sent me the lineups yet, but Central Cinema in Knoxville is going to be back again with a lineup. And once again, the Belcourt Theater in Nashville, Tennessee is also coming back. They're going to be doing 2 midnights sometime in January. So keep your eyes peeled for that lineup. And, maybe some other venues will be popping up as well. So that is January Giallo 2024 as it is at this moment of recording. Could be expanding even more. And as I already mentioned, we will be doing Cinematis movies every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So if you're not any place where you can go see January Giallo in person in a movie theater, hey, you can watch it online and celebrate that way. So that is the lineup for now. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we return, we're going to be talking about our favorite things of 2023. Or at least maybe I will. I don't know what Nick's going to do. All right, we'll be back with more Cinematic Void podcast.
Enter the bizarre world of the psychosexual mind. From Carlo Ponti, who brought you Dr. Zhivago, now... Torso. 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 It saturates the screen with terror. Torso. Rated R.
Has been marked for terror by a killer who leaves no clues. Has no motives. Only an insatiable desire for strange. Morbid. Eerie. Devilish kicks. His perversion knows no limit until... What strange vice pushed this man to beautiful women and their throats? Slowly, silently, almost as if he were not there, and yet... There's no way of telling who's next.
Welcome back. We are going to be now talking about our favorite things, some of my favorite things from 2000, some of our favorite things, I should say, from 2023 here on the Cinematic Void podcast. We do this every year. Nick had a complaint, wanted to alter the format. He's like, I don't want to just be the music guy. And I was like, that's fair. You definitely probably watched more movies in a movie theater than I have this year. And probably actively watch more like art house and like serious cinema than I have this year. So we're going to be doing this different. We're just going to be each throwing out lists of different things. I don't know how many Nick has. You went and got a stack of records, so it's going to talk about something. But I will actually go first.
Okay.
So it gives you...
I got a cat in a box over here, and she seems to be making some noise in that box.
Well, that's what happens when you own a cat.
Should I throw her off a mountain?
No. She jumped.
Okay, here we go. All
right. She was just playing in the box, man. So we're just going to talk about some of her favorite things in list form. I don't know how much to go. I wrote stuff down. I think Nick's going to wing his, which might be a more honest way. Because when you get put on the spot, you might just give the more honest answer.
Mm-hmm.
Although I gave a lot of thought to these, maybe too much thought, but like I just looked at my last FM stats, thought about the things I've listened to on repeat or went back to throughout the year. So I'm going to start with my favorite albums, not movies or Blu-rays, favorite albums, because like probably more so than films, I probably listen to music every single day.
Right on.
And a lot of it, whether walking to work, in my car, working out, whatever. So I'm just going to go, basically say my number one record of the year, hands down, and I think it's going to be yours too, is the Koyo Would You Miss It LP. Great poppy, hardcore, whatever you want to fucking call it. Whatever you want to call it, it's the best record of the year.
It's the record I've listened to the most consistently, where I just like throw it on and listen to the whole thing, or like get obsessed with a couple songs and just listen to only those 2 songs for like a week straight. This definitely happened for this record. You know?
It's a no skipper. And like, if you get one of those songs stuck in your head, and even if you think you get tired of it, another song will get stuck in your head. Like, it's the record. It's just my go-to default record.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't gotten tired of it or sick of it. And this is having seen them play this live.
Yeah.
It's just fucking good. And, big ups to them, because I think they're going to be on tour with One Step Closer or something like that, but they're not playing L.A. That's some bullshit, but whatever. Koyo, Would You Miss It? Fucking record of the year for me. And thank you, too. My number 2 record, and it was close, but like what it came down to with this one was like the amount of tracks I skip.
Mm-hmm.
And while I think this record might have my favorite song of the year flat out, which is Tears for Two.
Man, banger.
There's a couple songs that just like, they're not bad. It's just, I'm not feeling it.
Dude, the 2 or 3 songs on this record that I like a whole fucking lot carry the whole record.
They do.
But that's not to, I do think there's a song or 2 I skip, but like for the most part, the whole thing is, this group's got a good sound, man.
Yeah, they are like, what are they calling themselves? Into like new alt or something like that for alternative, whatever it is. But it's ultralight. Enjoy your time in the sun. Like, you hit me to this record, and it's just like, it's fucking great.
Yeah, man.
I would love to have seen them when they played LA, but they kept moving venues. Not their fault, whoever booked the show. There's one point that it was going to be like right down the street from where we live, and I was like, well, I can go to that. And I moved it to downtown LA, and I'm like, just took it to no man's land.
Yeah.
But seriously, this record's fucking great. Tears for Two is that's my song of the year. And like, it's just I think just the consistency, or just like, I look at that Koyo record as a complete project where it's like, there's no weak link.
Mm-hmm.
And this one just has songs that just aren't for me, or I don't feel as much. But like, I think overall, it's definitely a record I listen to a lot. And probably, if you look at the stats, it probably have more listens than the Koyo record, maybe. Might be close, but like, I think it's like, it's up there. Record number 3, I actually kind of went back and looked at stuff and revisited stuff, and listened to a lot of hardcore this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a year of it, and hardcore adjacent or whatever. But there's been one record, and I think this one is heads and shoulders above everything else. And one of the reasons is just it's a complete project. It's another kind of no skipper.
Yeah.
And, I'm not always in the mood for this, but when I am, it's like the perfect thing. And it's Incendiary changed the way you think about pain.
There's a lot of like real dumb hardcore going on, and I think that these guys are, whereas like everything is just dumb and moshy and just like tough for being tough sake a lot of time. Like, I love things like Pain of Truth and whatever, but like it's whether those guys are living that lifestyle or not, like it's almost like rap music, right? It's just like they may not actually like be these like tough guys, but like that's the image they're portraying, right? But these guys are like thinking man's hardcore.
Yeah, I mean, lyrically, it's probably top tier.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
Every window deserves a brick. And like,
yeah,
just like, there's sing-alongs, but it's just like, there's something dark to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think it's probably because these dudes are a little bit older than most of the, like, because they've been around longer.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it's the fucking soundtrack to the end of the world, dude. Which we're all like, you don't know when we don't know for sure that we're living in the apocalypse. But if we are, it's like, man, this record's straight up, like you said, it's no skips, like the fucking riffs, the lyrics. I mean, when this came out in like March, and I was already yelling from the top of the fucking mountain, like, this is my record of the year, you know? And it really, I mean, as far as like heavier shit goes, it probably is.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing that kind of like really solidified it, like on my YouTube algorithm, Audio Tree, which does like, you know, they pay bands to do like live sets, like Incendiary came up and it was like 40 minutes. It's like, did they just play a whole fucking set?
Yeah.
Because most people just do like 15, 20 minutes on there. They're like, no, we have a mission.
I mean, those guys were even, two of the members were on the fucking, like the Jordan Jensen, Ian, whatever podcast. Like they're like going on good like comedy podcasts, you know? It's like, dude, how sick.
I mean, also the singer broke his arm during a set.
Oh, right. That was the LA show, wasn't it?
Yeah, he broke his arm and he like said, hey, my arm's broken. Don't touch me. Let's just keep going.
They played the whole set and then asked the guy that recorded it to not post it.
And then posted it anyway?
I think maybe some, you know, I mean, everybody's got their fucking cell phone out, but I think it was like Hate 5-6 or something. Like it was like a pretty professional, like high end, the guy that goes to every shows and records.
Yeah.
And they were like, please don't post this one, like post the one from last night or whatever, you know?
It was still online. It was definitely like the version I saw of it was like definitely like a far away, but it was like a locked camera. It definitely wasn't like a cell phone.
Okay.
But whatever, like, you know, the Audio Tree ones, because they do Q&As in between screenings. They do Q&As in between, like, they do blocks of songs, whatever. And, like, you know, some of those, like, Q&As are just fucking terrible. But, like, those guys gave some really good answers and just, like, kind of articulated, like, their mission. And the number one reason why this beat out all the other hardcore records, no fucking guest spots.
Right.
And, like, you know, if I have one thing I would, like, you know, kind of knock the Koyo record for, and it's not even really knock because they did it in a way where it wasn't as intrusive. Like they had guest spots, you know, they had the dude from Glassjaw, the dude from Vane, guy from Movie Life or whatever.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot, but it feels so much more invasive when it's on like the fucking Pain of Truth record. It's like,
yeah, and I like that Pain of Truth record, but it just got tiring because it's just like, yo, dude from Vane. Yo, fucking Justice from fucking like Trapped on.
We get it. You have friends. Of course you do. It's hardcore.
Freddie from Madball, and it's just like and we talked about this before. It reminds me of like rap records now, where like just loading up on guests, and like I guess the thing is like, hey, if we have such and such on a record, they'll get a bonus play on that song, or someone will put it on a playlist because of that. I think that's the mentality behind it. And like that one thing the Incendiary record was actually the dudes from Incendiary, I think, are on that Pain of Truth record.
Yeah, I think so.
But because there's no guest spots, and it's just like, it's a work of art. And like, and I think the Koyo one kind of sidesteps even having the guests because it's just like, it doesn't feel, it feels organic. Where some of the other ones is like, dog, you brought all your homies to the studio, and like, it's not even gang vocals. It's just giving someone like 2 or 3 lines.
Yeah.
I mean, the most hilarious one is the Code Orange Billy Corgan one. Although I feel like that's the ultimate, like, oh, you all going to have guests?
Yeah.
And just like, we're just going to put Billy Corgan on a bridge, fucking record it on his, whatever this voice memo and send it to us or whatever. I don't know if he did that. But yeah, I mean, that was the one thing. It's just like, I don't care about guest spots in hardcore. You know? You can have someone come in and do backup vocals. Like, I mean, it's not new, but just like the excessiveness of it. Like, if it's for one song, but then it's just like, when you play this record live, it's not going to be the same because you have, like, dude, Freddie from Madball is not going to show up every time you play the song. Or whatever. I don't know. And that Pain of Truth record's good, but it's just, I think, you know, hardcore-wise, Incendiary, just, like, it is the thinking man's hardcore. It is, I don't want to say adult contemporary, but it's just, like, not that it sounds like Dead Guy or any of those kind of bands, but it's just, like, because there's something dark and just fucking mean about it, and not in like, tough guy, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, bringing our crew. Like, these guys just feel like cold-blooded killers, as opposed to like, you know, party gangs or whatever. I don't know where I'm getting at with this, but like, yeah, that record's fucking incredible. My number 4 record is wasn't a lot of hip hop records that I was really drawn to this year, and it came between this one and the Arm & Hammer record that came out, which I thought was really interesting, which funnily enough has JPEG Mafia producing some tracks on. But I think overall, this is my favorite hip hop record of the year, and it's a little avant-garde for what it is. It's Scaring the Hoes, it's JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. It's like somewhere between like Atari Teenage Riot, Godflesh, and like it's just weird and it's wild, and like the use of sounds and all that. It's really cool.
Hell yeah.
And it's just like, I think because it's like definitely maybe more, I don't want to say rock or whatever, but like, because it's not Sonic. I mean, but it's more in tune with like a punk or hardcore record than a rap record.
Yeah.
And another thing on this record, I don't think there's any guests.
Hell yeah.
So shout out to them. And then my last record, and this one, I was kind of torn. There's a couple other things. Like there's that Balance and Composure single, Savior Mode, which I do think is probably maybe outside of Tears for Two, the best song of the year. Like Savior Mode's a fucking banger.
It might be my most listened to song of the year.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic. But I was like, it's only a 2-song EP, and the other song's good, but it's just not. If the B-side to Savior Mode was like on that same level, I think, yeah, I could make a case for a 2-song EP being my top 5. New Hayden record came out, and I liked it, but I haven't revisited it. And it's really good. It's not bad in any stretch of the imagination. I like it a lot, but it's just like, I just haven't been in like the folk mode. And I don't know. I went with the Spiritual Cramp record.
Cool.
Which was, it's a self-titled record. We saw them with Teenage Wrist and Heavenward. And I like both of those records too. But like this one is just, it's short, it's concise, it's catchy.
Cool.
It's in and out.
I think I listened to the first couple singles when they dropped, but then when the full thing came out, I never actually went back and listened to the whole thing. So I will have to do so.
Yeah, it's like, it's really catchy post-punk with like some little reggae and like electronic influence and all that.
Cool.
And like I like them playing live. It's like, yeah, this is really cool. But like this one kind of snuck up on me because like sort of like that Koyo record. I'm like, I don't know what to listen to. It is towards the end of this year. It's like I either throw on the Koyo record or I would throw on this one.
Right on.
So those are my top 5 records. You want to talk about some of the music you liked?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got rid of my fucking gigantic record collection a few years ago, and have recently, really in the past year, just started buying shit again. And I'm buying records like differently. I've really only been buying like brand new stuff that's come out. So I have like a nice stack of like records that I think were really cool this year, and then there are probably like another solid handful that I just either didn't get a chance to buy or like didn't buy it quick enough and they're gone, or like maybe didn't come out on vinyl, right? But so there's like stuff that's just that I just have on streaming that's like also favorites, right? So fuck, I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't know, man. So much good shit. There's like great reissues that came out this year, like not reissued, but stuff that like the late 90s, early 2000s stuff was like CD only. So like the Antarctica full length came out on vinyl finally. The first Armor for Sleep record came out, Dream to Make Believe. The Year of the Rabbit, it's Ken from Failure. It's his side project with dudes from Shiner and a couple different bands. Like, it's fucking straight up incredible that these 3 are like finally on vinyl. Like, it's man, I wanted all 3 of these to come out on vinyl. Like, originally, I've been waiting for fucking 20 years. And so like, it's fucking insane that they came out this year. So I'm mad excited about that. And then just, like fucking, yeah, I think it's just a really good year for like fucking alternative rock, like fucking New Teenage Wrist, that Koyo that we talked about, the Heavenward record, so fucking good. The new Wayside's a band from Australia. That's their full length that came out a few years ago. I'm spacing on the name of it, but I straight up I listen to it obsessively. I listen to it so fucking much. But they came out with a new record this year called What Does Your Soul Look Like? And it's produced by Will Yip, who did like Title Fight and all those kind of bands. Yeah, it rules. There's like some great grindcore records that came out this year, like Wound Man, Brain Tourniquet, They're from this year, right?
I think so.
Am I crazy? I don't. I'm.
Was it Brain? Yeah, it was Brain Tourniquet.
Yeah.
Or was it Minor Race? I can't remember.
Yeah, there's some good like hardcore. Some good hardcore and punk bands came out this year, like Meat House, The Hell, Laughing Corpse. I mean, there's just so much good shit, man. Like when people that are just like, oh, music isn't good anymore, like you're fucking not paying attention.
No, music is great,
dude. It's crazy, man. It's so good. I mean, like, and a lot of this stuff is like bands that are kind of like rehashing older sounds, but like with like today's technology and just like that knowledge of the past, X amount, you might be ripping off a band that came out 20 years ago, but like there's been 20 other years of fucking like musical knowledge and technology. And it's like, so all these like Koyo may sound like, you could just be like, yeah, sure, it's just fucking early 2000s emo pop punk, but like it's so much better than that.
No, and I agree on that because it's just like the thing about all those records is just like the production's different.
Yeah.
And like, it's a gift and a curse because there's bands on record have sound way better than they ever have.
Yeah.
The curse is there's a few of those bands that can't replicate that live and they kind of disappointing.
That's why live music sucks and you should never go see live music.
That's true.
It's so annoying.
Just making sure your cat didn't like dive bomb off of me. Do a stage dive.
Yeah. Yeah, man. For music shit, that's I think I've made my peace. Yeah, man. Lots of great stuff this year. Fucking, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Next, I'm going to do what I traditionally do, and this was difficult. I almost wasn't going to do it this year. And at one point, we talked about you were going to do your top 5 Criterion releases, and I was going to do my top 5 records. But I sat down and figured out my favorite Blu-ray releases of this year. And there's things on here that I think were extraordinary, like works of like physical media. There's that Michael J. Murphy box set that I had, but I ended up selling it because it's like after I watched them, I'm never going to watch these again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather put it back out in the world and have someone that's going to like really enjoy it and want to collect it, have it.
Right on.
And there's also the Mondo Macabro did a Bollywood horror box set, which again, extraordinary, but I sold it because I'm just not going to watch those movies again. So for this list, I try to put things that I bought that aren't going to leave my collection. Number 5, Redneck Zombies, the best release of the year because we're on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
I mean,
so fucking cool.
I mean, I'm going to be biased. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Number 4 for me was A Blade in the Dark from Vinegar Syndrome because not only did they have the theatrical cut, they had like an extended director's cut. They had multiple versions of it. They did a really extraordinary job. Wow. Might not be the greatest Giallo movie ever made, but it's cool. And like, they went the extra mile and a half for it. I'm actually going to throw Criterion on here and like, Criterion doesn't load things up with extras, whatever. But like there's 2 Criterion titles I was happy to see finally come out on the collection. The other one that I didn't put on my list because I haven't bought it yet, which is Targets. But the one I had to get, which is because it's my favorite Martin Scorsese movie, is After Hours.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy in the world that comes out on Blu-ray and people were mad stoked for it.
Hell yeah.
And I think Criterion's been getting deep in that Scorsese pocket because they also did Mean Streets. And I think Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which is another great underrated Scorsese movie. Is probably going to be following suit at some point.
Cool.
My number 2, and I'm going to say this because I haven't had a chance to watch it, but just because of the love and care that went behind it. And the reason why I haven't watched it is, one, I don't have a Ultra HD player or a all region player. So I can't play it, but I bought it because I missed the Dawn of the Dead when they did. I got the Second Sight Martin. And the things I've seen, it looks incredible. It's on my shelf. One of these days, I'm either going to get all region player so I can watch the Blu-ray or get Ultra HD so I can, watch that. But, I ended up getting it because, like, who the fuck knows when this will actually get a U.S. legit release. And I'll probably end up going and getting one of those, like, not so collectible Dawn of the Dead that they put out. But, I know homies from Severn Films worked on a lot of the featurettes on it, as they did for the Dawn of the Dead. And, Martin's my favorite Romero movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm just happy to see it in any format that exists. And, maybe one day U.S. rights get cleared up. That's why I didn't get Dawn of the Dead. It's like, eventually someone's going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to hold my breath anymore. Now, my number one Blu-ray release, it's kind of unfair because it really hasn't come out yet, but, you know, still waiting to get my copy, but it would really be Della Morte Dell'Amore from Severn. That thing is stacked between the featurettes, the new restoration, which I premiered at Beyond Fest. Like, you know, there's not too many, like, newer, and what I mean newer titles from the last 30 years, like the 90s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's not too many, like, you know, true 5-star bangers from, like, the heyday of Italian cinema that hasn't had a Blu-ray release yet.
Yeah.
And this was one of those that was in that weird limbo, and shout out to Severn because they got it out. And honestly, they, out of all the Blu-ray labels, and I know everyone's done really good work, but like the stuff they put out, like the Emmanuel box set, incredible work. If I have to pick something that like they, you know, I have physically, like the Psychic or Nightmares in a Damaged Brain, like Ultra HD and Blu-ray releases are fucking incredible. Like Nightmares never looked that good.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have the old Code Red Blu-ray, and like, God, that fucking new one smokes it, and the Psychic looks incredible. They just been doing stellar work, and like all that Suave stuff that's coming out on Blu-ray, and you know, I think Private Crimes also came out this year, which, you know, not really the most stacked feature-wise,
mm-hmm.
but it's incredible that they put in the work, and it's a really nice set, so shout out to Severn.
Right on.
But yeah, shout out to Severn. They've been knocking it out of the park for the last several years, and like, you know, yeah, I work a lot with them, and there might be a bias, but like, dude, when you're putting out Della Morte Dell'Amore on Ultra HD and Blu-ray, and just, you know, getting Rupert Everett and fucking Anna Fulci and like Michele Soavi on those featurettes,
yeah,
like really putting in and grinding the work. And like, there's things that haven't even come out yet. They have a new restoration of Opera that's been playing theatrically around town on DCP.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their new restoration, so they got a lot of things coming out next year too. All right, Nick, do you have any Blu-ray releases, Criterions you want to talk about?
Yeah, Criterion just did The Others. I was really stoked to see that come out. And probably my favorite Criterion of the year. I mean, I've bought so many this year, right? But like, I've been excited about a couple of the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's like one every month. You know, there's one in each batch that I'm like, that's cool. But I don't necessarily buy them. But you know, it's rad that they did After Hours and Targets, but I don't have them yet. But my favorite is the Lost Ceremony that came out, which is it's a sick one. Definitely a big influence on Parasite. You know, I don't know, definitely I would really recommend just like fucking go into it blind and just check out this awesome film. Is it Chabrol?
Oh, Claude Chabrol.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was one of the later ones in his filmography.
I think
too.
so. Yeah, like one of the last ones.
Yeah, because I know Arrow. Like what's happened with Claude Chabrol is like a lot of people put out like that. It's kind of funny because like even back in DVD, there was a one box that would come out,
mm-hmm.
and then there was always supposed to be a part 2, but part 2 never would come out.
Gotcha.
Arrow finally put out the part 2
to
the
kidding.
part 1. So I mean,
cool.
He's got a hell of a filmography, and it's just like it's just taking forever for like that stuff to come out. So I don't know, kind of cool that like that one snuck out.
But I just grabbed the Sick Myself Blu-ray that came out on Vinegar Syndrome recently. I think it's Vinegar Syndrome and not Utopia or one of the other labels.
I think Utopia did the theatrical run on it or something like that.
Yes, I think that's the bumper that pops up before it starts for sure.
I think like Vinegar Syndrome has one of those. It's one of their sub labels. It's not the
mm-hmm.
actual Vinegar Syndrome, but it's like they have Vinegar Syndrome U. They have like 400 different fucking like sub labels within the label. Besides all the partner labels, like it's the same as Scary of 61st was kind of
mm-hmm.
the same thing. But.
Totally, yeah. No, the packaging is quite similar, and yeah, it comes with a great essay by Sabina Stent, friend of the pod.
Yeah,
and there's a video essay by Sam Deegan, who did that Legacy of World War II in Art House Cinema book a year or two ago. Yeah, just a really great release for sure. But again, just haven't been buying like the brand new thing that's coming out and just kind of buying all the other stuff that's already existed for a while.
I mean,
so I don't know.
I mean, I'm not been going too crazy getting new stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if it feels like it's essential. My new Blu-ray rule, and we talked about this on the Blu-ray Burnout podcast and probably several times after that, is like my new rule is like I'm not going to buy something and put it in my collection unless I plan on watching it more than once within 5 years.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be that, then it's just like I'm not going to buy it because then I'm just going to take it to Amoeba and sell it, and they're going to think I'm suicidal again or something.
Right.
The amount of times I've took physical media, like the last 2 times, and then it makes me not want to go back now because like it's like, wow,
are you okay?
Yeah, it's really been like that. It's like, dog, give me that fucking check.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to buy a gun.
No, they probably think that. They're like, how do we price this out? So we'll take your stuff, but no, I don't know. As much as I love records and Blu-rays and all that stuff, and I know this is rehashing on something we already talked about. It's just like, I'm just at the point, it's like, I'm only going to own something and I actually give a shit to own it.
Yeah.
And not just because, oh, look, I can show you this thing on my shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Get any more Blu-rays?
Nah, that's it.
All right, so I'm going to move. Go ahead.
All right, so my top 3 stand-up comedy specials of the year. We got Jeffrey Asmus, The Only Funny White Man. That's my number 1, straight up. Number 2, I'm going Shane Gillis with that new Netflix special. And then 3, I'm going Nick Mullen. I think it's called Year of the Dragon. It just dropped like a week or 2 ago. Top 3 comedy specials of the year. There's a bunch of other great ones for sure. Jordan Jensen. I mean, that could have easily been in the top 3. Maybe that edges Nick Mullen out. Sorry, Nick.
There you go.
But yeah, there's so much good comedy this year. It's fucking, dude, it's crazy. And a lot of this shit is like the Nick Mullen, Jordan Jensen, and the Jeffrey Asmus. All 3 are just like self-released on YouTube, which is something that a lot of comedians are doing these days. And it's not just because they're not. I mean, like, it's almost it used to be like HBO or Comedy Central or whatever, but nowadays it's almost like you're YouTube until fucking Netflix pays you $1 million, and that's it. And there's like almost no in between.
Well, it's the way like those premium channels have changed. Like this year, I mean, not that many listeners are going to care, but boxing is finally coming to an end on Showtime. And HBO's boxing happened maybe 3 or 4 years ago too.
Okay.
Which were staples
Yeah.
of those. And it's just like, I think the comedy specials kind of gone that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think most of what's on, the streamers now is like they're doing like, their TV series, and that's really it.
Yeah. But Netflix, I mean, they're going to do that Netflix is a joke thing here again.
Yeah.
What they've done in the last few years. And they're good for them, man. I mean, I appreciate not every comedian that does shit for Netflix is good. That's for goddamn sure. But like, I appreciate them, throwing their fucking hat into the ring and trying to raise awareness to a few of the good comedians around. I mean, there's a few good Netflix specials out right now.
I think with Netflix, regardless if it's film or comedy specials or TV or whatever, they're just trying to get tapped into all.
Some of the Netflix is a joke shows are actually gonna be happening at the Egyptian.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking awesome, man.
I think they're gonna be there, the Largo, they're just gonna be all over fucking town.
Shane Gillis is at the Greek. It's already sold out.
Yeah, that's a big fucking venue.
It's cool. I saw him at the Comedy Store a while back. I'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want to see a comedy
at
the Greek.
I mean, yeah, right? Like,
I feel like they had like Larry David.
Well,
no, Larry David was at the Hollywood Bowl.
It's weird, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, I can't really speak on it because I'm just haven't gone to it. But like, seeing music at the bowl is one thing. But like here, I don't know. When people are talking in between songs to the crowd, I'm sorry, I didn't hear a fucking word you said. Maybe maybe the sound is just different when it's been EQ'd for just speaking, right? But like, fucking A, man. It just and it just doesn't. There's something about being in like an intimate room watching comedy. Like, I'm not big on it even in like a larger theater.
I mean,
it's the more intimate setting that like really where the jokes like really land.
I agree with that. I've never been to a big comedy. I don't think I've ever been to a comedy show really.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I have. Like Josh Adam Myers, who I went to college with, who's now a pretty big, well-known comedian. Like he had his goddamn comedy jam.
He still does it.
I know he still does it, but he had a proto version of it that I saw at some weird like venue off of Schrader when I first moved out there and just kind of hung out and checked it out. So I have been to a comedy show, but I haven't been to any of the staples of it. But like, I just remember, I brought this up before, I'm pretty sure, about how Steve Martin said the reason why he stopped doing stand-up comedy is because he got to the point that he's playing stadiums.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's hard to play that room.
You can't even see the arrow through his head from that far back.
No, you can't. Even when they have like the multiple screens. And I mean, at the time, they didn't have fucking multiple screens.
Yeah. You can't even tell he's dressed like King Tut from In the Back.
Just a little speck. But yeah. I don't know. You got any more? Because I don't have any comedy specials. Like, you're more the comedy guy.
Yeah. Like, there's just... What else? What else is there? What other arts are there?
I don't know. I was going to
Your favorite painting of the year?
Shit, I don't know. Actually,
I know we don't have a favorite book of the year, motherfucker.
I know. I will say my favorite paintings of the year is my girlfriend Leslie just completed her like astrological series. She's actually a mixed media artist. She's done art shows and sold her art and done really well, and she just finished the series. She's just in the process of like, mounting all the art and then just finding the right gallery to go. She's trying to get me to do like an art show for my collages too.
Cool.
So
man.
So
jump into it.
So I'm gonna just say she's my favorite painter and my favorite painter of the year.
There you
my
go.
favorite paintings. So there.
so there.
So there. Yeah, I'm biased. I don't give a fuck anyway.
Yeah, man. Lots of good year. There's been great movies that came out this year.
I can tell you what my number one movie of the year is, and you've seen more than I have. There's a couple more that I'm gonna go see, but there's something in this movie that tells me that I may see another movie that's going to be damn good, but it's not gonna beat it, which is May December. Fucking Todd Haynes.
So you texted me something that I had already said out loud. This is 2023's Tar.
It is. I mean, it might not be exact, but there's enough in there of like, I don't want to say cancel culture angle, but like,
There are parallels, but also just speaking on it being the best film of the year.
Yeah.
Tar was, I'm sorry.
Tar
you can't fucking dispute it. Tar was the best movie of last year.
Tar was undisputed. And I know it didn't win the awards that it should have, but like Tar is going to be a movie that people are going to go back to in like 10 years.
Fuck yeah.
And May December is going to be another one of those. And I know it's on Netflix, but like
it's not to besmirch the good name of Netflix, of course.
Yeah.
But this is actually I just want to throw out there, this is a film that Netflix purchased after seeing it at Cannes.
Yeah, and there's a certain aesthetic to some of those Netflix produced movies.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. It's just it's not a Netflix production. It was bought afterwards, and I'm glad they've been able to bring it to the greater public who won't understand it.
Basically, I'm just saying that like if your name is Todd and you make films, you have a good chance.
The Todds, man.
Yeah.
The Todds. Yeah.
Todd Soldas, get on that, man. You could have 2024.
Man, triple threat, dude. We need a new Todd Solondz movie. Absolutely, man.
Like I'm not even joking. It's like Todd Field, Todd Haynes. I mean Todd Haynes.
Man, that's a wow. I hadn't even thought to put Todd Solondz in that equation, but now you just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
I mean, he's due.
That's 3 of my favorite directors right there.
Yeah, and he's due. Like fucking
fuck.
Todd Haynes has always made great movies, like Carol. But you can go back to Safe.
Man, Safe is so fucking good.
And if you ever get a chance to see Superstar, the Karen Carpenter story, it's the real Barbie movie.
I know that there's something to do with like rights or something that
it's all the music.
So I wonder if I could just find it to watch on YouTube or something.
It's probably, I don't know if it's on YouTube because the Carpenter music would probably get flagged.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But Internet Archive or something like that would probably have a copy.
Yeah,
I know it played somewhere this year. Like it was a secret screening and he was there and he talked about it.
Oh, sick.
But like Todd ain't like he's always made great fucking movies and like this is no exception. And it's like it's so fucking good because it's like you got Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman playing 2 of the worst fucking human beings to ever be alive in 2 different ways. And just like, oh my God, it is fucking...
You've got a grown man playing a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. Well, he was...
really, yeah, it's just...
It says a lot about like society and like the fact that it takes place in Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is one of the most beautiful places. I haven't been there in like probably fucking 20 years. I really want to go back because it's just a beautiful place to visit, haunted town, all that. You know, just like the right amount of Southern Gothic. So it's like it was a nice like backdrop to this, and just like, man, what a fucking movie. That's all I could say. But I know you've seen some other newer movies that might be up there, but you pretty much feel like this is your number one.
I mean, this is absolutely my number one. I saw Poor Things, and I really, 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 really liked it. In a way, I kind of don't even know what the fuck to make of it. Like, it's just, I'm so glad I went in like so just blind, and it kicked my ass. The Holdovers is great. It's just like, it's just really good. You know what I mean? Like, it's just nice. It's a throwback to, like, remember when a film could just be good?
Well, I mean, I've kind of hinted at this. We've talked about, and I think it might have just been other conversations or whatever, but I think we're getting ready for the indie boom again. Mm-hmm. And maybe not just, I don't mean in a sense, but like more like maybe the lost art of the $5 to $50 million, like, you know, drama, like adult movies are on their way back, because like I think superhero movies have just burned itself out.
Yeah.
And you know, people can say things about Netflix, but like they do put money in that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like I might not give a shit about Marriage Story, but like I'm kind of glad it exists.
Okay.
Because like it's basically giving opportunities to like that, you know, it's like, that's, if stuff like that is, then you have people like, you know, the John Waters or David Lynch type filmmakers could have their opening in, because like, you know, I think just smaller, more intimate, more like, you know, good movies, because like if our business has told us anything that we work in, which is primarily repertory cinema, is that shit's bigger than ever. And I think people would really, really, really get into, and have shown they want to get into, like, you know, independent movies, foreign films again. Like, you know, Drive My Car was a fucking big hit.
Yeah.
EO was a big hit. So I think, like, the taste is turning. I don't know if it's going to be, like, another, like, 70s boom, like, you know, American New Wave type of thing. But I think we're due.
Yeah.
It might be closer to, like, the 90s indie boom of, like, you know, Tarantino and Coens and, like, Soderbergh and stuff like that. I know all those.
I'll take it.
I mean, I know some of those filmmakers started, like, in the 80s, but, like, you know, the actual big indie boom.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually excited for new films again, just overall.
Hell yeah.
I mean, this is the first year where I've seen like trailers for 10 things where I'm like, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Even if I don't make it to a theater, I want to see it still.
Totally.
And like, you know, even things like, you know, Thanksgiving, it's like I have my problems with it, but I think it was good. And it's a step above a lot of shit that's been coming up or coming out. Like, I liked Air. I know I saw it on Amazon, and like, it's not reinventing the wheel, but Affleck's a good director, and it was just like the kind of like nice story about how Michael Jordan made billions of dollars from wearing Nikes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I think that's, the film is turning, and I think people being interested in repertory cinema, and I also think it's going to affect streamers, because I don't have the numbers, but I'm curious to see how Criterion subscribers lines up to something like Netflix or Hulu. I know it won't be exactly close, but I think they have good numbers.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And, you know, people that have Canopy subscriptions because they have library cards. And they have, like, Criterion and Art House and, like, that kind of stuff. And there's, like, you know, Amazon Prime has a ton of, like, you know, 80s, 90s, like, a good mix of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might have to dig a little bit to find shit, but, like, I don't know. I think things are changing, and I think adult, and I don't like using the word adult, but, like, movies made with a soul that are just good.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what the plot is, they're just a fucking good movie is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's if I pick my most hopeful moment of 2023, it's that.
Okay.
So,
Agreed.
You got any more lists?
Nah, I think I'm good, man.
All right, I got one more list here, and then we'll stop the listing. So I figured, you know, originally at one point when I wasn't going to do a Blu-ray list, I was like, maybe I should just talk about my favorite screenings I got to do this year. I'm actually listing this as my favorite Void events of 2023, because some things are more tied together than others. So I did 6, although I guess maybe these are tied at number 5. Tied at 5A and 5B. First one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 at the Music Box with Caroline Williams in person, with Jeremy Wagner from Broken Hope and the homie Will Morris.
Right on.
What a fucking fun screening to do on a Thursday night in Chicago, 500 plus people. It was fucking great.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, it's like, it's cool to just like, you know, I love LA and I love doing screenings here, but it's like kind of cool to go someplace else and just like be in a place where like, yeah, they get guests from time to time, but like, you know, being able to do an event like that and doing it well. So shout out to Jeremy, because like he's the one that made that happen, but that was fucking cool as shit.
Right on.
My other 5 is, it was my month of March that I did at the Lost Fields 3. I did a series called March Movie Madness, and is basically, because the biggest Luna tribute was happening that month, and I got offered to do Anguish.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically made a series around Anguish and movies set at movie theaters.
Right on.
So I did Matinee, Popcorn, Anguish, and Targets.
Mm-hmm.
Did them all in 35, and I think I sold out every single one of those screenings in March at the Lost Fields 3.
Right on.
Joe Dante came out for Matinee, director of Matinee. Jill Sholin, star of Popcorn, came out for that. And, you know, it was a banger of a month. And it was like, I'd say this year, Lost Fields 3 was, you know, my best year. And I've said that a bunch of times. And although it hasn't happened yet, like my Monday screening of Repo Man is sold out. So I think it's sold out maybe 21 or 22 out of the 50 shows I did this year at Lost Fields 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I think, pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, there was some down moments, but that's natural ebb and flow. You're not always going to catch the audience at the right time for something, but I don't know. My 4th favorite event I did this year was the 7 Deadly Sins Marathon down the Arrow for the 7 years of Cinematic Void. You know, it's a weird marathon. Deanna Rooney knocked out of the park by doing like 6 out of the 7 movies, doing weird skits.
Yeah.
And you projected some of that, right?
I did.
You projected the back half, the best half, as it were, which was like Silent Rage, Joysticks, and Burial Ground.
Totally.
So I don't know. It was fun, and like it was one of the few marathons I've been to where like the audience didn't really drop off that much.
Mm-hmm.
It pretty much stayed the same all the way through, and that was really cool. So yeah, that was one of my favorite events. Number 3 is one I just did, which is that Neon Maniac screening.
Hell
because this is the second time I've done it, showed that movie. But this time I got to do a Q&A, and it was just like, you know, got to see it at a packed house, and a lot of people hadn't seen it, and just like people got into it. It was a really, really fucking fun screening. My number 2, and this, you know, might be number 1, but I'm going to do it as number 2, which is January Giallo 2023 in general. You know, I got to go to the Coolidge, the Music Box, see Film Center Denver, and kind of got to close things out by doing I Know Who Killed Me, Q&A with Chris Severson, who was the director. Got to be in a room where Lindsay Lohan said, "I know who killed me," and watch the audience erupt. But, you know, there was a lot of things in January Giallo 2023. There was that LPP fucking Technicolor Lizard and Women's Skin print that we played, that we kicked off with, which was just such a beautiful fucking thing. Like one of the best things I got to see in the theater. And I watched it twice in a day.
Hell yeah.
Because I went down for the tech check and watched it all the way through and then watched it again. So, I mean, you know, I got to hang out with lots of cool people like Teresa, Keith, Will, Mark. You know, it was, I don't know. I love doing January Giallo. I'm glad it's now across the country. And it's really cool just to see how big it's gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And just being able to experience around town and just, you know, doing cool shit with it here in LA. And my number 1 screening, because this one meant a lot to me for it to sell out, because 1, it was part of Beyond Fest, and 2, there was no guest, even though I tried like hell to make something happen with that. And at the end, it was being able to present the world premiere of Severin Films' new 4K restoration of Della Morte Dell'Amore at the Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just getting to introduce an audience, like most of the people in that room had not seen it, and watching them just fall in the sync with it, laughing at the humor, getting scared when they need to get scared, just connecting with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just, you know, that's why, you know, I screen things.
Yeah.
You want to present them to audience, and you want people to dig them. And like, I still think my favorite Letterboxd review was someone wrote, "Tim Burton, you are nothing." Which is
hilarious.
So that's, I think we're all listed out here. So that's going to wrap up the final podcast of 2023 here on the Cinematic Void podcast. Nick, it's been a year, as it were. Do you have anything to say?
It's been really real.
It's been really real. So, I don't know. See you all in 2024. Until next time, see you in the void.
Great New Year's resolutions. Buy a VCR I can really program. Ditch the 8-track tape player. Save at Circuit City's huge New Year's Day sale, Wednesday 10 to 6. Be there.